Do we currently see the world as a physical mechanical machine? Everything is chemistry and atoms and stuff like that? And it turns out the new understanding, which is quantum physics, says, the focus shouldn't be on the material things. The focus is on the invisible energy things, which includes thought and belief. Because it turns out it's the invisible energy that controls the physical world. And this is what quantum physics talks about. They talk about what they call the field. So what's the field? Well, they say invisible energy, moving energy that influences the physical world. Well, that definition is the same definition for spirit, invisible moving forces and influence the physical world. So it's interesting that today's modern science is reconnecting us with the ancient history of spirituality, which says that we are energy beings inhabiting a physical body. Well, if we understand that, we start honoring the energy part, the invisible stuff that we've let go out of the equation because all we looked at is give me the physical material, give me money, cash, give me things. And it turns out that it's the energy is more powerful, the invisible stuff is more powerful than the physical stuff. So turning our beliefs around and recognizing our thoughts are powerful elements that say, let's start exercising our thoughts rather than exercising our wallet. Let's say it controls the world. And this allows all of us, every one of us, because we all have thoughts and we all have this energy. And it's such thoughts that create the science, and this is quantum physics. They talked about that it's consciousness that creates the world. And so we all have to start recognizing we all are unconscious, and collectively our consciousness can change the world. So when you have a lot of people out there and saying, oh my God, the world is out of control. And so yeah, but all you need is a lot of people who know that to say, let's consciously create a different world. And then we've not held a victim of the world that we're in, because we can manifest the world that we want. And that's why I get so excited by all the viewers out there, because each viewer out there represents another consciousness, that with all the other consciousness can change the world. And this is what evolution is all about. What we're facing is an evolution, not a physical evolution. It's how we relate to each other with our consciousness. So we're all coming together in one giant consciousness called humanity. And this is the evolution we're facing. Yes. You were explaining in your lecture yesterday that you were going from a church base, very much modeled to then, now science is giving us the truth of doing that for 150 years. So we left the church-based model of a spiritual world and entered into the science-based model of a physical world. We played both of those worlds now. And what's the evolution that evolution says? Both of those worlds collectively make the world, so it's not just spiritual, it's not just material. You have to bring both of them together. And so now that we traveled through the spiritual part of the world, with the church running in the world, and then the material with the science running the world, we're coming to a closure that says, to understand the world, you have to invoke both the spirit and the matter. And that's why consciousness is what I'm talking about. Spirit is our consciousness, and our energy is thoughts. It's not physical, it's energy. And yet science now tells us those thoughts are shaping the physical world. So we can change the world we live in by just changing our thoughts, but that means changing the programming that was in the subconscious. You're saying that 95% of things that happen in our life were coming from the subconscious. That's the part that people have to wake up to. Because a lot of people think, oh, look, my desire to be successful, have a great relationship, have a great job. I want all these things that now I go out in the world, and it's like, I'm not getting there. I'm not making it, and it's like, they get frustrated. And they say, well, it's not me because I intend to be successful, and not being successful. So it must be the world is against me. And then now all of a sudden, I'm a victim of like, well, this is not the world I wanted, and it turns out no, it's not the world your conscious mind wanted, but it's the world your subconscious mind has been programmed to create. And the word subconscious, by definition, means below consciousness. So you are creating without being conscious that you are creating this, and this becomes a problem because it turns out it's not the outside world that's keeping us from succeeding. It's the invisible inside world that we've been programmed with through culture and family to have lost our power. And that's the biggest thing about this propagation of the belief system. This is not new. You know, it's very interesting of the Jesuits, 500 years, the Jesuits, the church, they would say, give me a child until it's 6 or 7. And it will belong to the church for the rest of its life. What they knew is what we're talking about, neurobiology. The first 6 years of your life are programming. From other people, not your programming, parents, or family community. You as a child are in a hypnotic state for 6 years. Your brain is functioning in a hypnotic state, meaning the first 6 years is download. And the problem with the download is we're not conscious during that part, which means whatever was downloaded you didn't filter it with your belief system, you didn't have a belief system. And whatever you heard, saw, or experienced in the first 6 years is a recording just like this is a tape recording, boomed down in your subconscious mind. And then we find that 95% of our life is actually from the subconscious mind with only 5% from the consciousness, and what's the difference? The conscious mind is your spirit through who you are. Your wishes, your desires, what you want out of life. Conscious mind, I said, well, you want to be successful. Great, you want a great job, great. That's all conscious, I say, but you're only using that mind 5% of the time. You're living your life 95% of the time. With the programs that you got from other people. So the truth is, you are living other people's lives invisibly, because it's called the subconscious, meaning you don't see it. And so when you're creating these behaviors, you don't even know you're doing it. And if your behaviors are not supporting you, then you sabotage yourself without even you know, and you're doing it, and that's where the victim comes in. It's like, oh, my God, do I want to be successful or not? The world's against me, I'm a victim. It turns out no, you were programmed not to succeed, and you're engaged in a program without you seeing it. So we were sabotaging ourselves without ourselves knowing. That's why the new biology wants people to wake up. That's the wonderful thing, because those people out there have fallen in love. And you know, if you could go back in your mind just for I want you to go back to that point where you fell in love. I call it the honeymoon period where you did this. And I asked you a couple of questions. I say, when you were back in that love state, head over heels in love, where are you healthy? And it turns out, almost everybody says yes. You know, exorbitantly healthy, everything was great. I said, did you have energy the whole way? Tremendous energy to be active day and night in this love theory and the honeymoon? I go, yeah, and I say, how about, was life so much fun that you couldn't wait for the next day to have more of this experience? And the answer was yes. Because it was so great. And I go, well, think about it. You created health, you created energy. You created a world that was so beautiful for you when you were in love that you couldn't wait for the next day to have more of this world. And what it turns out is, how did our world, which could have been crazy before you met this person? Then you meet this person, and then the next thing, you're in this great honeymoon experience, okay? And then your world today is heaven on earth. Yesterday was hell, today's heaven on earth. Did you fall in love? And then what I want people to know is that was not an accident. That wasn't just a wow, that just happened. It's like you created the love experience. And in the process of creating a live experience, you created health for yourself, energy, and you created a world that was so beautiful for you that it was heaven on earth. And why is this important for me to let you know? Basically, this was not an accident. This was a creation, and if you understand how you did it, and now we know why, how it happened. And that is to remember our conventional understandings. We run our lives 95% of the time from our subconscious programming. When you were falling in love, you don't go into the subconscious program because your conscious mind is so excited about being here. It doesn't leave, and that's why the problem most of the time is our mind's thinking. And when a conscious mind is thinking, by definition, it's not paying attention, and that's when the subconscious programs run. When you're in love, the conscious mind doesn't want to go anywhere. It wants to be right here and take in all that love. So this is one time in your life when you tend to stay in the conscious mind. I said, well, what happens when you stay financially? You created heaven because you were creating from your wishes and desires. But the moment life gets busy again and your conscious mind starts to travel, then you go to the default, and the default is a subconscious program. But those programs came from your parents, your family, and your community. So they're not even your beliefs. So you start living other people's lives. So for me, what does it all mean? And as you express, it's like, when we're in love, we create heaven on earth. What if we could learn to stay in our conscious mind, which is called Buddhist mindfulness? It's a practice. That means that you can then have a honeymoon every day for the rest of your life on this planet. Because it was only when we get out of our conscious mind that we return to hell on earth again. And that's because we were creating that without ourselves even knowing it. When we have a group of people we do like easyology muscle testing. One of the questions that I love to ask, the first question in muscle testing is, get ready to do a muscle test on a drive and then make a statement. I love myself. The most surprising thing is, I think up to 80% of the audience will not test positive for that belief. And that's because, during our childhood development, we were so criticized by our parents and our family and criticized to do better, which meant at some point, why? Why are we being criticized? Well, our parents want us to do better, but if our subconscious mind just recording the criticism in our conscious minds out there, then our belief of who we are the critical things like, oh, you're not smart enough. You're not lovable enough. You're not. You can't do sports. You're not, you don't deserve things. These are what parents say. When we put that down in our subconscious, that becomes a belief system. Our subconscious, and since we run our lives 95% of the time for that. That's why when you check, do I love myself, and the answer comes out, what kind of childhood language did you hear from your parents? And the issue is that's why 80% of people cannot test well for loving themselves, because their subconscious never got the program. For the parents. Oh, you're the most wonderful loving child and you can do anything and, you know, we support you in everything and all that. If you don't get that, then you got criticism. And if that criticism went in the subconscious mind, then that was recorded. You become the criticism of all of us, and we should test that as just, do I love myself, and why is this an issue? If you can't love yourself, then how are you going to find somebody to love you? Because the first thing your psychology would say was, I can't love myself and this person says they love me, why would they love me and I can't, I don't even love myself, so they are not a good judge of love. Because if they're loving me and I don't love me, that we don't agree on that, and people sabotage themselves because of their subconscious beliefs. So to fall in love, the first thing is, you got to love yourself. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video informative and enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on our latest content. Also, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about the video. We love hearing from our viewers and we'll be sure to respond to as many comments as possible. If you have any suggestions for future videos or topics you would like us to cover, feel free to let us know. Thanks again for watching and we'll see you in the next video.